Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, November 5th. It is 6:26 right now. We got market opening up shortly in about 4 minutes. Let's get the opening time set up over here. All right, so we got the first entry right here. I changed over I put basically the trades in a spreadsheet so it's easier to see. So you guys can see over here now, it's a little easier to see now with regards to organization of the trades and whatnot. So first entry right here is at 629. It is against momentum, has a weighted probability of 72.80%, overall 70.59, buy 66.67, and sell at 75%. History shows 2 out of 3 wins, and the direction is for a sell. So if you guys are looking to take this trade over here, pretty much just kind of organizes everything a little bit better so that you guys can kind of have an idea of like what to look for. So basically, it's going to be against momentum. We'll see what happens here when market opens up shortly. Yeah, everything's kind of just lined up right there, so you don't really have to load everything up for the most part. So, all right, first entry right here at 629, if anybody's looking to take that. Looking over here at the overall trend, currently on the 1 minute, price is currently neutral. You can see price is in between the pivots. Trend meter is blue and green, so that's more on the neutral side. Looking over here on the 5 minute, price is the same thing. It's above the pivots though, so it's more on the bullish side. And the 15 here is also bullish. On the shorter time frames, price is more of a bullish neutral trend. Looking over here on the higher time frames, 30-minute prices in between the pivots, 1 hour prices below the pivots, and the 4 hour prices in between the pivots. So on the higher time frames, it's more on the neutral side, but on the lower time frames, it's more on a bullish neutral. So it's more on the neutral overall, but somewhat bullish, a little bit mixed. Now going over here to the market structure, this is even more mixed. So you can see over here on the 1 minute, it's currently bearish, 5 minutes neutral, 15 minutes bullish, 30-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour neutral. So overall, it's pretty neutral for the most part. I guess I can mark up some market structure here so that you guys can kind of follow along and see where we're currently at. We have a resistance up here that is kind of built up. We have a support that is from this higher low right here, it looks like. So it looks like price might be ranging within this area perfectly fine. I believe we have some news that's scheduled for today. I don't know if it's actually going to come out, but we'll uh we'll see in a few. Yeah, we'll see in a few. Let me see what I got over here. Off this lower low. So I'm just marking out market structure for those of you who still use market structure for your analysis. I don't use it, but it's good to have an idea of like where things are sitting to see where, price may possibly bounce from. It's currently at a support level, so this here might bounce off it, but I mean, we'll see what happens when market actually opens up. The breakout for today or the opening breakout is going to be a buy, it looks like. So again, like I said, right here at 629, we have a target entry, which is going to be against momentum. We currently have a bearish momentum here, so this is going to be a buy entry. If you guys are looking to take it, it has a 72.8% weighted percentage of probability. That's basically I mean, it's a pretty decent edge. It's about a 22, 23 point edge right there. So if you guys are looking to take this, I mean, I'll mark it up for you guys. I'm not taking it, of course. I never take the open breakout anymore because of the manipulation here on open. We got market opening up in about a few seconds, and we got market open right there. So I'm not in this position, but like I said, the entry would have been right there. The reason why I don't take this is obviously you guys can see right here the manipulation immediately on open, right? So I'll be looking for the 632 position. I mean, price is still going to be heavily manipulated around this time, so I probably wouldn't even mess with it. But over here at the 632 time, it is going to be with momentum, has a weighted probability of 74.19. So that's a 24-point probability for it going in your direction overall. Um, Overall buy and sells, it's at 70.59, buys at 62.50, sells at 77.78. History shows 2 out of the 3 recent Wednesdays have won, and it's in the direction of a sell. So if you guys are looking to take this position, we'll follow it. Again, it's at 632 right here. So as you guys can see, this opening candle over here, it spiked down and then it spiked right back up. So I think the trade is still technically running, or maybe got stopped out already. I don't know. Yeah. Depending on what your TP stop loss is, some of you guys like to use a 50-50. I think the 40-80 is just a little too tight. If you did a 50-50, the 50-50 is still running right now, depending on like what your target you wanted. But for the open, I would probably use a 1-to-1 for a 50-50 because it's always going to be very spiky, right? Or what you can do is you can start with the 50-50, and then once price moves into profit, you can always move your stop loss in profit and you can tighten your stop loss closer to like more of a 20 or 40-80, right? Or 20-80, whatever it may be. I think 40-80 was the numbers that we looked at for the opening breakout. So it's currently still running right now. The position right here at 632, I think price here is a little too crazy at the moment, so I'm not really looking to jump in just right now because let's see, we have about a 60-point range. So I think I'm going to sit out on this 632 entry. If you guys want to take it, I mean, feel free. It's going to be a sell entry. So it does meet the criteria here if anybody wants to jump into this. I think this is going to be very risky because of, how market's currently moving right now. And the thing is like volatility and momentum isn't necessarily pushing down, right? It's retracing up right now. So if this entry does play out, this is the type of pattern that's going to play out for it, right? For the 632. I'm not jumping into this one, but if you guys want to jump into it, I mean, feel free. It's basically once this candle closes. So let's see who's here so far. Morning Sam, morning Rev, morning Masij, morning Karen, morning Maria, morning Daniel, morning Lila, morning Barack, morning Smith, morning Rashida. Yeah, Smith got in for 50-50 on that opening breakout. Nice work, Smith. And Rashida said it's moving too crazy. I agree. It's jumping around a little crazy right now, very choppy. So I'm not really messing with it. You guys can see this huge wick on this current candle, right? So if you guys want to take this here, this is the 632 entry for a sell. This is for a sell because it's with momentum. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't take it, but you guys can see how crazy this thing's moving right now. The momentum and volume isn't pushing to the downside, so I'm not necessarily looking to jump into anything against it. We talked about this earlier this week. There's these two things called, catching the falling knife and catching the rising knife, right? Right now, if you're trying to jump into this position, you're kind of catching the falling knife or the rising knife because the volume and the momentum is super heavy in one direction, right? So for example, this entry over here at 632, it was for a sell, but you see how the momentum here is pushing up so strongly? You don't want to jump in front of momentum. You want to ride with momentum, right? The whole point of the strategy is momentum based. So right now, if price is pushing up, ideally, I'd like to look for some buys here, right? We just don't have buys here right now. Everything here is kind of pointing towards a sell. 629 was a sell. Um, I mean, it was a sell for my direction, but the probability is still pointed for a buy. If you look over here at the probabilities between buy and sell, they're still pretty high, right? So for this entry at 632, I mean, although I was looking for a sell, you can see over here the buys still have a pretty high probability. It's at 62.50 and the sells were at 77.78. Obviously, the sells here were higher, but I wouldn't jump in front of momentum, right? What I would wait for is if I'm looking for a sell, I want to see the volatility here start to die down. See how this volatility is starting to slow down a bit? We're getting wicks on the top end. So in this situation right here, if the markets start to slow down a bit, then okay, maybe here I'll probably look for that entry at 639. But right now, I'm just not really looking to jump in front of the momentum, right? You don't want to fight momentum, you want to go with it. So right now, I'm just hanging back a little bit, waiting for the market to kind of stabilize a little bit. Here's the main chart. You guys can see prices is spiking all over the place, right? I had some support levels here. Price pretty much came down, grabbed liquidity from those support levels, shot up, bounced directly off that resistance. So you just got to play it smart, guys. We talked about this yesterday. Like, yes, I do have the probabilities for these entries, but the thing is, the probabilities they only get you so far, right? You still have to use your own discretion to understand when to sit out of the market and when to jump in, because the main thing with this is that these probabilities are based off normal market conditions. If the market is jumping around and there's so much volatility on both ends, then you don't want to jump in because your stop loss is super tight, right? We're entering with a 20-point stop loss. So if the trade goes against you even for a second, you're screwed. So just be patient. I'm not rushing into anything here. If I don't get into anything until later in the session, that's perfectly fine. We also have some news events over here as well. Let me see. Um, yeah, we have a couple news events over here, as you guys can see. Let's see. At 6:45. So 6:45, we have S&P Global Services PMI. Um, Let me see. So earlier this week, we did have inflation news come out. So I think the news event for today is going to come out. There's some events that are coming out, like for example, the jobs data didn't come out yesterday because of the government shutdown, but I think the PMI data is going to come out. The reason why I say that is because we did have PMI data come out on Monday, right? So over here we had ISM manufacturing PMI, it was negative. And then today we have ISM global services PMI, which is also inflation news, which is coming out at 6:45 and then at 7 o'clock. So you want to be careful with that because those are catalysts in the market. People are going to be betting on those news events. You don't necessarily want to jump in when, market is kind of going all over the place. So let's uh let's kind of play it, take it easy right now, and then we'll kind of see where price ends up going as we get closer to that point in time. For some reason, I'm looking at the time over here for this setup, and the numbers are like a little off. I don't know why they're off, but they are off for the 39 entry. Hmm, it's weird. Let me check the 32. Yeah, for some reason, the numbers here are like they're really off on my stats. It's weird. So this number's right. This number's right. For some reason, the overall is wrong. Let me check maybe the numbers changed overnight. I mean, sometimes they change overnight. I did this last night, so I don't know if I want to see what the sample looks like. I don't know what's up with this. Unless the sample changed overnight. I mean, that could have happened. Okay, this candle right here prior to the 639 guys is huge. So I'd be careful if you guys are looking to chase that down. It's going to be for a sell entry. Yeah, I'd be careful with this entry at 639. Like I said, you don't want to be jumping in front of momentum. You want to ride the momentum. So if you guys are looking to jump into this, I mean, feel free to jump in. This is the 639 candle. I'm trying to compare the numbers here. For some reason, the numbers are off on, I'm assuming it's factoring in an extra trade, that's why. 640. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with this, but it seems like it's factoring an extra trade. Okay, whatever. I mean, it's fine. I'm gonna go off my data here because I already set up the data. Like I know this stuff's right because I did this last night. Okay, if you guys are in this position right here, it's currently running in profit. So like I mentioned, guys, I think this is tricky because this candle over here was pretty huge. So I'm not in this one. Obviously, like I mentioned before, you do have the probabilities in front of you, but the problem is your stop loss is super tight if you're taking the same entries I'm taking. So you don't want to jump in when market's being manipulated. Right now, it's considered being manipulated because of, obvious reasons, of course. This thing's it's moving a little too volatile. The ATR is not too bad, but specific candles here are kind of choppy. And by that, I mean this huge red candle right here. So if you measure this red candle, the problem is, if price retraces back to fill this candle, It's a 60-point candle. Your stop loss is 20 points. So it pulls back even just a little bit. It can easily stop you out before coming right back down. One thing that I might have to adjust moving forward might be the stop loss, right? We might have to go from a 40-20 or a 20-40 to maybe like like maybe a 30-60 or even a 50-100, something like that. Just depends on how the volatility is moving. Right now, we don't really need to make those changes. This trade here is currently almost at its profit target. This was a 639 entry. It's about a hit. Yeah, it's right there. 639. Sell entry, full TP. So if you guys caught that, there you go. Perfect. Smith got it. Barack got it. Bernard got it. Daniel got nice work, guys. Rashida caught it. A lot of you guys here caught it. Yeah, Masij said ATR lags a lot though. So what I would say, Masij, and this is what I might do too, because like I do agree with you, it's kind of lagging a bit. I'm gonna change this from 14 to 7. So it just factors in the previous 7 candles. So now it's at 32, right? It's a little bit higher, but it kind of helps with, what's happening right here, right now. So great work, guys, on catching that trade right there. Like I said, for me personally, I think this was a little bit of a risky trade because this candle was so big. I want to catch the momentum when it actually happens, right? I don't want to chase it after it's already happened. I want it to happen when my trade is actually running. So not in that position right there. The 741 candle is not a target entry. There's another one right here at 642. This is supposed to be for a buy, but obviously this is not going to be a buy entry. It's still going to be a sell. So not taking this right here. Oh, I'm seeing Arik's camera right now. If you guys see Arik, he's over there doing Zumba. Trading and doing Zumba in the background. I just saw the camera shaking around him. You're good, Arik. I was looking at the Zoom and I just see my screen bouncing around. All right, let's see. Nice. Justice caught that trade too. Brock's trailing it. Roosevelt said loss on the opening trade, but made it back. Rashida said another entry coming. Yeah. Masish said looks like he's enjoying himself. Yeah, he's good. All right, so this entry right here at 642, there's nothing there right now, guys, because it was for a buy entry, but the momentum here is a sell. So looking at that 642, we had with momentum. This momentum here was for a sell. In order to take that buy, we would have had to need to have a bullish momentum here. So both of these trades are not coming up right now. 643, 640, or 642, 643. We have another one at 646, which is coming up right here. Let me check the news if it actually came out today. Okay, so the news came out over here. It was or it's about to come out. It is S&P Global Services PMI. It is forecasted to be negative. It actually just came out right now. It's negative news. That's why price here is kind of dumping down a little bit. You probably want to wait until a little later, closer to the 702 or 755 entry. Because we still have another news event coming up right here at 7 o'clock. This was negative, so price is coming down with it. I mean, it wouldn't matter. There's no entries here right now. We had the 642, 643, 646. 646 is, so these are both for buys. There's no buy entry here. And then 646, this is for a sell. But in order for us to have that, you need to have a buy signal here. So we just gotta wait for these entries to come up. So today's algo entries, there's only one entry that came up today. Really, it was a 639, not one that I took, but that was the only one that really came up. Total, one win, zero loss, plus 2R for today so far. All right, so there's only one entry that came up at 645 right now. 646 is forecasted to be a sell. So in order for us to have that entry, we need to have a buy signal come up on this candle right here, right? Because it's against momentum. So 646, it's against momentum. It has a weighted probability of 65.78, overall probability of 58.82. Buys here are at a 33.33%, very small. Sells here at 72.73, and it's won three out of the three recent Wednesdays. So with that being the case right here, there's not going to be an entry. So we have a buy signal which is currently pending, but that doesn't matter because the buy signal would have to come up before, right? That 646 entry right here, it is against momentum. This momentum here is currently bearish. So it's going to be a buy entry versus a sell. So no entry there for 646. We got a couple non-target entries right here at 653, 654. Um, the weighted probability is not super bad. I mean, they're at 62.84 for both, but they don't meet the criteria. So my next entry that I'm going to be looking for is going to be here at 6 or 702. So here's the problem. We have an entry here at 702, but we have news at 7 o'clock. It's ISM services PMI. This is what I don't like about there being news on the day because there's a lot of manipulation, right? So this news over here at 645 was negative, price kind of dumped down, and now it's starting to push right back up. So initially it had a drop right here. You guys can see this big red candle, and then now it's shooting right back up. Like I mentioned before, if you guys are day trading this or you guys are trading the algo is based off like the numbers here are based off normal market conditions, not news, right? So you don't want to be trading news and you don't want to be trading market like extreme high volatility. This is extreme high volatility, right? Look at this big range. I'm okay with the volatility, but when it's like extremely high like this, where it's chopping up and down, price is currently in about a 150 point range. It's a big range, right? It's not something to mess with. Let's go back to our main chart. See how price is just chopping up between this whole area right here? This is an easy place to get stopped out, especially if you're using a really tight stop loss like what we're using, right? We're using a 20-point stop loss. Any type of retracement or anything here really that could really screw up our position, um, it puts us at risk. So, we talk about this time and time again. It's not really about identifying entries, it's identifying when to sit out of the market, right? Knowing when to sit on your hands, knowing when to jump in, knowing when not to jump in, because the market's not always going to be moving in your favor. So here's I know some of you guys like to take the orb entry. The orb entry here actually lost. So if you took it here for a sell, it would have lost, of course. Whether you took it right there, would have lost. If you took it for the retest, still would have lost. So no wins over here for the orb. Um, yeah, Sam said sweepy, sweepy. Yeah, exactly. It's sweeping back and forth. Here's the main chart, Sam, since I know you're still looking at the levels and whatnot, just for something for you to take a look at. Let me see if there's any other entries coming up. There's one coming up at 653, so I'll take a look at that. It's a non-target entry, but it's still on the list. The overall probability weighted is not horrible, right? It's at 62.84. It doesn't meet my target entry threshold, which has to be at 65 or higher, but it's still pretty decent. You have a 12, 13 point edge for this entry here if it comes up for a buy. Let's see, Coney's asking every day when you trade with the probabilities algo, I have new questions. Could you make a dedicated video that walks us through how you come up with those percentages? I mean, there's already a video on the YouTube, Coney. So here, let me get the video for you real quick. I mean, there's a video, but I'm not teaching the strategy. Like the strategy is not really meant to be shared with the public. If you want access to it, you can get access to it, but I'm not really teaching. Everything is based off the hedge fund now. My main focus is really just the hedge fund. I'm not really teaching at all anymore. I mean, you can learn the strategy, but you gotta actually learn. It's self-learned. It's not necessarily like I'm not mentoring people or anything like that. So if you want to learn and watch it, I mean, feel free. But yeah, I'm not. It just doesn't make sense for me to teach anymore, right? I mean, I taught before, but I'm not necessarily teaching anymore because I make more money from just trading versus teaching, and teaching just takes a lot more time and effort. So I just don't have that right now. Maybe in the future I'll teach again, but right now it's really there's so many people signing up for the hedge fund that my time is better spent, onboarding new clients versus teaching it all. So yeah, there's a video right there, Coney. If you want to watch it, that's the mentoring session where we cover the algo in detail. If you want to sign up for access to it, I mean, feel free, just go on the website. Website is kodikaitrades.com. Click on strategies right here. This will give you access to the algo and the rest of the indicators and the tools. Again, if you guys are new here and you guys want me to trade for you, if you don't want to actually trade and you just want me to take the trades for you, obviously you can see how conservative I am with the profits or with the trades in general. My main goal is really to protect your capital and provide growth for your account, right? That's really my goal because obviously the more money I make you trading, the more money I make. So it's a win-win for both of us. And also, obviously, I want to protect your capital because if you lose money, I'm not going to be able to keep you as a client, right? So my main goals with the hedge fund is first and foremost is to protect your capital, right? Make sure to limit risk as much as possible. And the second goal with the hedge fund is to grow your account substantially, right? Because the more money you make, the more money I make. So yeah, if you guys are interested in that, one thing that I realized and what I learned over the years, I've been trading for over 12 years now. I've been teaching for over 8 years. I realized that trading is not for everybody, right? It takes a certain type of person to really get good at trading. It's easy to get lucky at trading, but to be consistent for, weeks, months, years, etc., it takes a lot of someone. It's really the psychology aspect of trading. It's an endurance game. That's really what it is with trading. A lot of people get lucky sometimes and they think they're on top of the world, and then they end up blowing their account and they're back to the bottom, right? I'm sure a lot of you guys have went through that. Trading is rewarding. If you can get good at being consistent over a long period of time, trading is great. But in order for people to really succeed at trading, you have to have that endurance, right? You can't just be good for one day. You got to be good for weeks. You got to be good for months. You got to be good for years. You can't just make one big mistake and blow your account. I see that happen with everybody. It's like you could be good for a couple days, and then one day you just overtrade, revenge trade, FOMO, whatever it may be, and then you end up blowing your account and you're back at square one. So, that's why a lot of people criticize the way I trade. They say I'm scared or I'm hesitant and stuff like that. Well, that's the reason why I've been trading for so long, right? Because being scared and being hesitant in the market protects my capital. Like I don't remember the last time I blew an account because I'm hesitant, right? I'm hesitant in a good way. Um, so just keep that in mind, guys. I'm always going to point you guys in the direction to make you a consistently profitable trader. I might not point you in a direction to be super, super profitable, right? I'm not going to point you in a direction to be a millionaire by tomorrow, but I'm going to point you in a direction where you're not going to blow your account. And you could probably be a millionaire over a time period, right? It really is. You have to get the skill down first. And then once you have that skill down, then you can add size to it, right? A lot of people don't even have that skill down and they're taking crazy contract sizes. They're getting lucky on like one or two trades and then they blow the account the week after. It's crazy. I've seen so many people where they especially with the prop firms, it's I feel like prop firms they're good in a sense that they force you to follow these rules, but a lot of people they don't like they're good at following the rules during the eval phase, and then I see people get to the funded phase and like the whole strategy goes out the window. It's crazy. Um, you've seen people here in the group pass evals left and right. Like people are passing the evals within a day or within 2 days or within a week. As soon as they get funded, they take one trade and they blow the account. I'm like, where's the point in that? You wasted a whole week of trading, you paid for this eval, and then you go to fund it and you do something completely different and blow your account. So you just wasted a whole week. If you just stayed consistent for a whole month, you could have passed that eval, got some payouts, and then continue that process. It's just a routine. So keep that in mind, guys. This is probably going to strike a couple chords for a couple of people because I'm sure this has happened to a lot of you guys. But, this is a marathon. You got to think of trading as a marathon. It's not a race. It's a marathon. It's not whoever can make a million quickest. It's who can make that million and who can keep that million in a long term, like in a long period of time, right? So, yeah, I mean, that's going to upset a couple of people, but, that's what it is. That's why not so many people last at trading. There's a reason why only like 10% of people are actually profitable long term. because it's a marathon. It's a marathon. It's an endurance game. So, all right, guys, right here at 6:53, I didn't take any of these entries right here. There was, let's see, they were both buy entries. Obviously, they don't look very good because price is overextended. But here, let's see. So 6:53 was right here with momentum. The trade's actually still running. So if you took this trade right here, this is a 6:53 position. I mean, you guys can see it's the volatility here has kind of died out a little bit. So I wouldn't personally be in this or recommend taking it. We have news coming up here at 7 o'clock. That's the main thing that I'm waiting for. So we got news right here, 7 o'clock. It's ISM services PMI. The news here at 6:45 was negative. This is forecasted to be positive actually. So we'll see what happens there. I'm not in any positions. My next target entry is at 702. It has a weighted percentage of probability of 79.74. So this is pretty big. This is about 29%, about 29 and 30% edge weighted. Overall for buys and sells, it's at 70.59. Buys have 88.89 and sells have 50%. It's only won one out of the three recent entries. Let me check to see why is that the case. 902. 902. All right, so looking over here, October 29th, it was a loss. This was for a sell. 22nd, this was a loss. It was also for a sell. And the 15th over here, it was a win for a buy. We're looking for a buy here, so it looks a little better. I mean, it looks like it could probably play out. So the buys here do look pretty decent in a sense. The sells don't look so great, so I probably wouldn't take the sell there if it came up. Masij said for anyone trading ES, first trade from the algo hit TP for 3R. Nice work, Masij. Yeah, Masij said, yeah, it's not hard to learn. Joined 2 weeks ago and I'm already doing well, I feel. Yeah, Masij picked it up pretty quickly. Oh man. There goes my Ninja Trader. What time is it? 7 o'clock. Guys, I tell you guys this every day. It's at 6:58, 7 o'clock, my Ninja Trader just goes haywire. It disconnects from every account. I think it's my internet, honestly, because well, it's got to be my internet because you guys saw my trading view here kind of blanked out as well. Now, great. Now I have to go and like re-sign into everybody's account. Super annoying, but let me do it before I miss the trade again like I did yesterday. Let's see. iPhone is asking Sean, 53 trade, what's your take? Isn't 53 your target entry you're holding off? It's not a target entry. That was actually a typo. So I talked about it in the chat. That's why I hear it's not green. The numbers here they didn't meet the threshold. So it had to be at 65, but it actually was, and it was at 62. So I put a new I updated it. All right, give me 1 second, guys. I gotta log back into everybody's account. This is like really annoying, but whatever. I can't do anything about Ninja right now. You guys are gonna hear the login button. This account. Okay. Yeah, this is super annoying. I wish there was a way to just get them all on at once. I can't wait until you make the transition to the other broker because this thing's like, dang, huge spike right there. Look at that huge candle. So there was news at 7 o'clock. This is what I'm trying to avoid. I guess there's not going to be an entry for me at 7:02, guys, because yeah, that's just a no for me. It's gonna be a hard no. Damn, huge spike to the downside. I'm assuming the news was negative. but I will take a look in a second. Okay, looks like we're good. Reconnected to all my accounts. Huge, huge candle right here. How big was that candle? Damn. Yep, that's a big no for me. 100 points. That's market manipulation at its finest. Okay, that's fine. I'm not taking the entry here at 702. The news was positive. So you guys see how market got manipulated right there? Huge spikes to the downside. News was so here. Look at the news over here. So the news over here earlier was negative, right? But price shot all the way up. The news here was positive, but price shot down. It's obviously clear market manipulation right there. You don't want to play in a market like that because by playing in a market like that, you're just taking a gamble, right? You might as well go to a casino at that point. Your odds are probably better at the casino at the roulette table, betting on black or red. You don't want to trade in a situation like that because, yeah, you can get lucky, but obviously you can get unlucky if price goes the other way. So I'm not looking to take anything here. If you guys want to take something, I mean, feel free to take it. The entry over here is going to be for a buy. It's going to be with momentum. So the trade here does line up. It's supposed to be a buy entry. I mean, technically, it looks pretty good. It looks like it can be good in a sense because you see how we have this big red candle? Price is likely to fill this gap, right? This gap candle right there. So if you want to take this 702 entry, I mean, you guys can. I just think it's very risky because it's going to be based off this catalyst right here. And I don't really want to trade off a catalyst like that. I just want to trade off normal market, right? I'm trying to ride momentum. I'm not trying to guess where price is going to correct to or where it's going to move to next. But yeah, if you guys want to take this entry here, I think this is going to be very risky because this candle here, I mean, this can continue to the downside to fill this gap down below this wick, or it can push up to fill this body right here, right? It's either going to push up, retrace this body, or it's going to continue pushing down to fill this wick down below. So to buy entry, if you guys want to take it, feel free. Candle's going to close in about 10 seconds. Again, guys, take this at your own risk. I'm not going to take it because you can see market manipulated right here at the 7 o'clock, and I'm not willing to take that risk, right? If the market didn't happen to spike like this, then okay, great, I'll take the entry. But this here is considered a risky entry in my opinion for the obvious reasons. Yeah, JT said, Jonathan said, better to be selective. iPhone said, Sean, your algo screenshot is different. I'm confused now. Yeah, did you look at the chat over here? Because if you look at the algo over here, I said, yeah, thanks for pointing that out. 63 is actually a typo. It's not a target entry, iPhone. Because I posted that right there. Justice said, hey, is 64, 65, they're almost the same. Is it supposed to be a target entry? I said, no, it's not because it was a typo. So that's why this one over here, it's the same thing. It's just 653 is different because I mentioned that the number right there wasn't accurate, right? It was 662. It's supposed to be above 65 for it to be a target entry. That's why this one's slightly different. It's just that one, just 653. That's the only one that's different. There was a typo on it. Let's see. Yeah, Justice said, been there, bro, with my funded stage, learning from my mistakes. Yeah, it's a common thing, Justice. So don't feel discouraged if it's happened to you. Barack also he said, experience self-sabotage for reals and not for reals. Um, Smith said, I'm getting better at not taking on too much risk. That's literally the main thing, right? Masih said, who's your ISP? I remember correctly, it's Google Fiber. Yes, that is correct. It is Google Fiber. For some reason, my internet just keeps disconnecting around 7 o'clock. I don't know what it is, but I think it's my internet in general. Yeah, no problem, iPhone. Just saw your messages. I'm just catching up with the messages right now. Guys, so full TP right here at the 702 entry. As much as I would have wanted to take it, like I said, this thing could have went either way, right? It pretty much came to fill this big body right here. And that's what happened. It could have also pushed down to fill this wick. I don't like when there's uncertainty in the market. That's why I decided not to take that specific trade. Um, this week is a little crazier than I was anticipating. I mean, I already anticipated it to be crazy because it is NFP week, but the thing is we're having a lot of news events that didn't happen last month, right? if you guys remember for NFP last week or last month, for October, none of this stuff was coming out because we just had the initial government shutdown. Thing is, the government's still in shutdown right now, so I wasn't expecting these news events to come up. So this is what's kind of throwing me off a little bit because we had a whole month with no news and the volatility wasn't super crazy. Now it's just kind of all over the place. But if you guys took that trade right there, that's the second entry for the day. I wish I could have taken it, but like I said, I'm trading too many accounts right now. I can't take too many like risky trades, of course, right? My main goal, like I said earlier, is to protect capital. So my main goal is to protect capital and and grow the account, right? Of course, grow the account in a conservative manner. So I'm not putting client accounts at too much risk. But there was like little drawdown there, a little bit. Price kind of came down maybe to the halfway mark, 10 points, and then it shot all the way right back up. So nice entry right there for those of you who caught it. It looks like a good handful of you guys here caught it. Masish said, I'm just saying, y'all, I've been using TradeStation with a copier. I found and no issues at all. No error codes, no problems. The UI is also great. Maybe NinjaTrader is not so good. Just responding to Lamar. Yeah, and I agree with you too, Masish. I think with NinjaTrader, it's hard when there's well, for me specifically, it's hard when I'm trading so many accounts, or I'm trading about 80 accounts now. So it's hard because it has to execute across all of them. Yeah, I heard good things about TradeStation. That's why hopefully so fingers crossed, guys. The main thing I'm waiting for right now is I'm waiting for the regulators to approve my disclosure document, and then we're gonna make the transition to StoneX. That's all I'm waiting for. So hopefully by this week, today's Wednesday, they usually take they said a 14-day turnaround, but I'm hoping it happens quicker. Once they approve the disclosure document, then I can start to transition people over. Because in the new disclosure document, the previous one said that we were using NinjaTrader. The new one says that we have to use StoneX. So that's why I had to just make that little change there. But then I also have to list like certain things. Let me see. So there's like little changes, guys. It's not nothing crazy, but there's like little changes over here with regard to the agreement, right? So like if you guys are part of the hedge fund, you guys have already seen this before. This is the agreement and the disclosure document. The main changes here were mainly just the financial companies utilize because this used to be NinjaTrader, but since we're not using them anymore, I had to change everything to StoneX, and then I had to put all of the material, administrative, civil, and criminal actions that they've been a part of right here. Obviously, not all brokers are going to be perfect, and I had to put all this information here so that you guys are aware of anything that has happened in the past with that specific broker. So. Yeah, fingers crossed. I'm hoping they approve it by this week. Let me actually check my email right now to see if they've responded. They have not responded yet, so hoping we get that by this week so that we can make that full transition over. Yeah, I just want to get it all over with, guys. I'm a little tired of NinjaTrader. You guys can see every day it's like there's always something new. There's always something new. Disconnects, slippage, etc. All of the above. All right, next entry is going to be at 728. It's not a target entry, but it's going to be the next entry right here. Smith said, what the fuck, another win. Too bad I'm only trading my secondary account. Um, Nathan caught it. Nice work, Nathan, on catching the entry right there. Lamar has a issue. Let's see. Damn, see, like I've never gotten this. Thank God I've never gotten this one before, but yeah, it looks like Lamar had this issue right now with NinjaTrader, unable to connect to the database. Yeah, I've never seen that error before. You might have to do a clean install, Lamar. You might have to uninstall it, go into your files, delete all the Ninja stuff that's there, and then do a fresh install. I think that's the only way to fix it. It seems like you have an internal problem with your platform. Masih said October was a great month and no news in October. Coincidence? I think not. Yeah, I agree with you. Masih said the algo is much better in predictable conditions. I agree. That's why for me here, like although we have the data here and it shows that the trades will likely hit, I'm still kind of being a little more cautious when there's like heavy news. The good thing is that there's not news every day, right? There's going to be some days where there's heavy news and some days where there's no news. And then there's going to be some days where the market's just kind of moving normally. I think this 755 entry is going to be one of those normal entry types. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for here. Let me see if I can put the settings over here for that entry. 755 with momentum. See, I don't know why this happens right here. It's weird because, yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming there's another day that added onto here because this wasn't here. Let me just go do this real quick. I mean, it wouldn't even make a difference actually. Whatever. Let me just do the math real quick. I want to make sure that this still meets criteria. It should because the probability there is at 68. So even if it's off by a little bit, no, actually, okay, never mind. Sorry, guys. I'm so I'm tripping, dude. This is my bad, guys. I was looking at the wrong number. So I was looking at the weighted percentage, and I thought this was the overall because I switched these over. So my bad, guys. I was like wondering why this number was different. It's because I'm looking at the wrong one. The overall is right here, 5294, and it is 5294. I'm so dumb. I was like wondering why. I was like, there's no way these numbers are different because I did all of these last night, and the trade hasn't came up yet. But okay, it makes sense now. So this is the weighted, it has a 68.14 probability overall with regard to overall plus the higher percentage, which is a buy over here. So 755, we have with momentum for a 1 to 2, it has a 68.14 weighted probability. So this is an 18% edge in the market for this specific trade for a buy. Overall, it's at 52.94. Not very big overall for both sides, but on the buys here, it's up 83.33. And the sells here are up 36.36. So I'm not going to take a sell, obviously. I'm going to look for a buy. The history here shows that it won 2 out of the 3 recent Wednesdays. And looking over here at the statistics, so October 29th, this was a win for a buy. So that's a good sign. 22nd over here, this was a win for also a buy. And the 19th over here, it was or 15th, it was a loss for a buy. So for the most part, it won 2 out of the 3 recent Wednesdays. So that's good. And the probabilities here are lining up as we'd like. So we'll see what happens as we continue along. But see what we got next. Yeah, Rev said I've gone that before, had to do a fresh install. CERN said for the last 2 weeks, I've also gotten many internet disconnects. I have business fiber connect, never experienced this before. Yeah, so it seems like fiber just might be the issue with the internet, guys, because CERN has it for his business as well. I have it for my business. It seems like it's just a fiber connection. Ed is asking, is there any minimum account balance when you transfer over to StoneX? Yes, so it's the same amount, 10,000. The margin requirements are a little bit higher with StoneX because we're going to be on an institutional broker. For NinjaTrader, NinjaTrader is focused mainly on retail, so they can offer, they're a discount broker. That's why, obviously you kind of get what you pay for with NinjaTrader. They're a discount broker, so it's about 500 per day trading margin for YM. For StoneX, it's 700. So it's not necessarily like that bad. Uh, Here, let me show you guys real quick. Let's just do the math. So for example, if you wanted to take one contract with StoneX, you just need to have 700 in the account at all times. If you were to do 5 contracts, you need about 3,500. I know I tell you guys 10,000. I'm required to tell you guys that because you don't want to be trading too close to margin. You basically want double margin. So like technically, if you wanted to trade 5 contracts, you only needed 3,500 at all times, but you be using double that, or you should have double that in your account just to be safe, right? So realistically, you need about 7,000, but 10,000 will put you in that threshold where you're not going to have any problems. So technically, you can start with with less, but I'm not going to take your account if it's less. From the agreement over here, the minimum offering is 10,000. That's to make sure that your account's healthy and you don't ever go near your margin. Because you never want to get margin called. That's like the worst. You get too many margin calls, the broker's gonna close your account. So I've had a margin call once when I was trading Forex, and that was because I didn't know what a margin call was. But ever since then, I've never had a margin call. You want to keep a good relationship with the broker because if they think you're too risky, they're not gonna have you as a client, especially if it's a regulated broker. Yeah, Masih said it does the weighted overall plus better direction divided by 200 by itself, all the analysis. Sean, why don't you make a program that takes the backtest data from the algo. I already made one, and that way I can't make mistakes doing pre-market. I think I'll talk with you in a little bit, Masij, and we'll see if maybe you can like share that with me so that I can kind of do that as well. So I think what I'll do is I'll probably use your program to like spit out the data, but then I'll also double check it. Yeah, because you already have a working program, so like maybe I can just build off yours and then maybe improve it from there. But I mean, what you have is pretty good already. We'll talk in the chat, or I'll talk to you on Discord a little later after this, and we'll see if we could maybe work together with that to improve it even more. Because I know what we have now is good, but I feel like there's things that we can do to improve it a little bit better, right? I think there's always going to be some way to improve it a little bit better without overfitting, because that's one thing we don't want to do. We don't want to overfit the strategy. Certain said he just lost all his connections. Yeah, yeah, definitely Message. So Message has a pretty cool tool. If you guys are in the premium, you guys can see over here like Message. So me, I do this all by hand, right? When I put up the statistics for Message here, Message has like this tool that he created, which pretty much spits out the data for him in line already. So it's pretty cool to see what he's been doing. And this is beneficial not just for me and for you guys, but it's beneficial for Masij because he's starting to understand, the more and more you see the data, the more and more that you can kind of work with it to improve. Because the thing is you can always get better just using the data. You don't necessarily have to overfit and put more criteria, but there's going to be different ways to analyze the market using the data in front of you. So it's a pretty cool tool. Um, I'll probably implement it myself so that we can make it better, of course. Let's see. Wolf is asking, are there any people you can recommend to learn a good strategy? Trading environment is full of scammers. I mean, honestly, I don't think you can't really. So here's the thing. I talked about this with someone, Manny, you're probably here watching the live session right now. So there's a new trader. Well, he's not new. He's been trading for about like maybe less than a year now. And he saw that the realistic side of trading, right? There's no one strategy that's going to work for you. You got to figure out what strategy you like, and then you have to build your own strategy around that style of trading. A lot of people are looking for that golden, that golden strategy that they think that they can do or that they can copy that will just make them an amazing trader. But realistically, it's not going to work for everybody, right? Like for me, for example, I give you guys the exact strategy that I'm using here for every entry I take. Doesn't necessarily mean everyone's going to do well, right? Because if you're not a day trader, day trading strategies are not going to work for you, right? If you're not a swing trader, swing trading is not going to work for you. If you don't like to trade momentum, it's not going to work for you, even though the strategy is proven and it works. Um, because it doesn't fit your trading style or your preference of trading, it's not going to work for you. So what I would say, Wolf, is, try all the different types of strategies out there, even the ones that the scammers are teaching, right? Try all the strategies out there and figure out what you like to trade. Because what works for me is not necessarily going to work for you. And that's why me personally, I don't really like teaching anymore. Like I've taught people my strategies for years, and we've only seen a handful of people who are still able to keep up, right? Even though it's a very, very simple strategy. Like this strategy is extremely simple. The algo literally tells you what to take. The hardest part about applying the algo is really picking the right entries to take, right? Because you're going to have a list of entries here, but you have to be able to decipher which one do you want to sit on, which one do you want to take, which one do you want to think about, um, because it only takes you so far. So, I mean, there's two types of people out there. It's either you take all the entries or you take selective entries. For me personally, I take selective entries because if I took every single entry here, that's going to eat up into my commissions and fees, right? I got to pay a lot in commissions and fees. You got to think about it. Like, I mean, it's not a lot, but it'll add up. Like, for example, if you're doing 10 contracts times 129, so you're basically paying about like 12 to 15 bucks, or maybe closer to 20 with the exchange fees, about 20 bucks per trade in one direction. So you do that times two, you're basically paying about 30 bucks. Whether you win or you lose a trade, that's 30 bucks. You take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 times 13. See, it adds up. You're basically about $400 in the hole already at that point, just from commissions and fees. So for me personally, I don't like taking every single entry. I only like taking trades that meet my criteria. So just kind of depends. Just kind of depends. All right. So again, like I said, guys, there's no entries right now. If there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to hop into the chat. I don't have any target entries until 7:55. So I'm kind of sitting back for a little bit. We have a couple non-target entries here. So the first one coming up is at 728. At 728, this is going to be with momentum. It has a weighted probability of 62.75. That's about a 12 to 13 point probability weighted. Overall, it's a 58.82. Buys are 54.55 and sells are 66.67. It's only won one out of the three recent Wednesdays, and it's for a sell. So it's not a super great entry, but there's still edge on your side if you want to take a position. Right? If this trade comes up for a sell, you can take it. I mean, there's opportunity for it there because right now we currently have a bearish momentum. So with that being the case, as long as price continues dropping lower, they'll be perfectly fine. And I got a connection issue again right here. See if you guys are looking at my trading view right now. I just want to point this out that I'm having connection issues and I'm already expecting my NinjaTrader to give me an error again. So here's the thing, it might not be NinjaTrader. There you go, reconnected. So, the problem might not be NinjaTrader. It might just be my internet. So don't bash NinjaTrader completely because this just might be an isolated problem. It just might be my internet connection for some reason. I don't know how to fix this, but I'll kind of point it out if it ever happens again. I'm gonna look up right now real quick. Irvine, Google Fiber, internet outage. Masij said, nope, used NinjaTrader a couple weeks ago, constant connection issues. I know they've had connection issues in the past. I think what I need to do is I probably just need to reset my router. Yeah, I'm gonna have to just reset my router. Let's see, Rev said I've had connection issues with Ninja, but really rare for me. Yeah, the thing is, I didn't really have these problems before. I mean, they were there, but they weren't like as prevalent as they are now. I feel like I have a connection issue every day now. Um, yeah, during the summer, there was like no connection issues. I was perfectly fine. But all of a sudden, yeah, all of a sudden it's been an issue. All right, guys, we have price kind of pushing up right here. Like I said, for the 628, if you guys are looking to take it, it's supposed to be a sell entry with momentum. So if we don't get a sell signal here, there's no entry at 628. So just something to keep in mind. You want to wait for a sell signal here to confirm. Once it has confirmed, then you have opportunity for entry there. All right. All right, guys, 626 right now. We got about 2 minutes till 628 for that entry. There's no sell signal here yet. So again, you need that sell signal in order for this to be an entry. If you want to take it for a buy, that's completely fine. The buys here are not that bad. So you don't have to take a sell. It's just my direction here was for a sell. If you want to take this entry, you can still take it for a buy. It's going to be with momentum. So this trade here, you just have to go in the direction of momentum. Right here, we have a buy signal. So if you want to take this here for a buy, feel free. It's not a target entry for me, but let's do the math for a buy. Okay, so for 628 right here, it is overall 58.82 plus 54.55 divided by 200. Okay, you still have an edge here. So there's an edge, but it's not a very strong edge, right? It's a 56.68 edge or 56.69 rounded up. So this right here is the edge for a buy. The edge for a sell is higher at 62.75, but for a buy here, it's at 56.69. So, I mean, you still have a 6 to 7 point edge here if you want to take it for a buy. But, I mean, it's not going to meet my criteria, of course. I only want to take trades that have above a 65. So there's still probabilities of you winning this trade if you decide to take it. Again, right here, guys, it's going to close in about 40 seconds. So if you guys want to take this trade, I have it marked up for you guys right there. I'm not taking it because it doesn't meet my criteria. For one, it's not a target entry, and for two, it doesn't meet my criteria. So, so here we go, guys. If you guys are looking to take this position, again, I'm not taking it because it's not my target entry. In order for it to be a target entry, it has to be highlighted green here. And in order for it to be highlighted green, it needs to have above a 65% probability. So I'm sticking to my rules, of course. But if you guys want to take this position, there's nothing wrong with taking this position here.
Connection lost.
Connection loss. Of course, it's a connection loss. So what I noticed is at 7 o'clock and 7:30, I don't know what's the case, but every day, 7 o'clock, 7:30, there's a connection issue for me. Taking this off, not in the position. Like I said, I was looking for this here to be for a sell. This trade here was not a sell because there was a bullish momentum there. We needed a bearish momentum to confirm it. CJ said won't bash an indicator today, but I don't regret going in on them for yesterday's trade because everything worked perfectly fine and I couldn't enter because of them. Yeah, keyword today, right, CJ? It just depends when there's issues. I mean, there's always going to be issues with brokers, but I feel like they're very, I mean, for us, they tend to happen when you least want them to happen, right? Whenever a good trade comes up, there always seems to be some sort of issue. Imsu is mentioned, just add them up and divide by two. Yeah, exactly. So if you guys want to get the weighted average here, all I do is I add the overall percentage with the higher percentage. So basically whatever is higher, the buy or the sell, I'll add overall plus that number, and then I'll divide it by 200, which is the total edge. because you're adding up two edges here, right? The overall plus the directional. So that's going to be 100% edge for each side. That's why you divide it by 200, and that's how you get the weighted average. C said, market makers are watching. They don't want us to win, disconnecting our internet. I know, right? That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. So, all right, guys, no entry here at 6 or 728. The next entry is at 754. We have both of these kind of lining up with each other. These are going to fade each other. So just keep that in mind. These are both fading each other. The 754 is for a sell and the 755 is for a buy. Obviously, I'm going to go with the 755. The weighted average here is a bit higher. Um, for today so far, these are the two entries which came up. So 639 over here. This trade came up right there for a sell. That was a full TP for 40 points. And then this one over here at 702. The problem with these entries, so if you guys are just joining in or if you guys didn't see what happened around these times, is we had news, right? So at 7 o'clock, we had this high impact inflation news. Spike price down, a lot of manipulation, decided not to take that one. Same with this one over here at 639. We had the big, huge candle right here, right? Big, huge candle. It was based off the market open. And obviously, we want to be a little more cautious with those types of entries. So there's a certain type or there's a certain type of entry that I'm usually going to be a little more cautious about. It's going to be the opening entry because we have manipulation on open and then around news time. Let me check the calendar for tomorrow. So, oh my gosh. So tomorrow I was like, okay, great. We're not going to have news. Look at all the news for tomorrow. This is all jobs data though. So because of the government shutdown, this news might not come out. This is either going to get canceled like it happened yesterday, or it's going to get delayed. During the actual trading time, there's a couple of Fed speakers, but no actual high impact news. So there's pre-market high impact news right here tomorrow, but I'm assuming that these are probably going to get canceled because I don't think they have jobs data for this week until the government shutdown is over. So unless, the government shutdown ends tonight, these news events are probably going to get canceled. All right, so let's see. PC said, Sean, I'd recommend connect to a VPN near the exchange for the lowest latency to decrease slippage and connection consistency. Yeah, I was thinking about doing that. I'm probably going to look into that. So thanks, BC, for the tip on that one. I'll probably take a look to see, if I can connect to some like a VPN in Chicago. I think that was probably going to be the main move. The problem with that though is, which I've run into in the past, is that I get even more connection issues when I'm using a VPN. I might have to use like a VPS actually. A VPS might be a better option, but I'm gonna look into that. I've done that before where I tried to use a VPN and then the problem is NinjaTrader wouldn't connect to it. They're like really strict. Actually, it wasn't NinjaTrader, it was Rhythmic. So I used to use Rhythmic before when I traded with Top Step. I use Rhythmic, and when you're on a VPN, they don't allow it. So it was like weird why it didn't work. But I'll try it out. Maybe that'll help. If anything, a VPS might be even better, where I'll be logging into a computer that's actually in Chicago, and that could also help. I'll also talk to the broker to see if there's any solutions they can help with as well. But I agree with you, consistency and connection consistency and low latency is going to be ideal, especially with the style of trading we're doing. We're very like fast paced and whatnot. Oh yeah, and so that's one thing too. So Broxit and Apex might have issues with you due to connection, yeah, a location change. Yeah, they do. I've seen a couple people where they got in trouble for having because it looks like two people are trading their accounts if you're using a different location. But I think mine should be fine because I'm live trading. So if they do have issues with that, they'll see that I'm actually trading it. I mean, who knows? We'll see. Try to figure that out. Let's see. Msu's asking, why are some entries green and some are white? Yes, green is for target entries. Barack said maybe there's no market maker. There's just a very well-trained algo that sees orders and understands the objectives of the maker. Yeah, possibly. Siege that tomorrow is going to be good. A little pre-market volatility is always beneficial. Yeah, ideally I would like the news to actually come out pre-market so that the market's moving as soon as market actually opens, and then there's no news after. So there's going to be some volatility and some like a range is going to be established already once we enter the market tomorrow. Masij said looked into doing that. Generally, your connection to the VPN has too much delay and it weighs out the benefits of a VPN server. VPS is much better. Yeah. Yeah, I might do that. I'm pretty sure there's VPSs available like near the exchange specifically for trading. So, I mean that's probably gonna be the best option there because if I have that, then I could probably have a VPS and control it from my Mac, but still trade on a PC over there. I'll look into that. Yeah, iPhone said one loss for today. Hopefully we can secure a winner and come back from it. Took the 28 entry, bad choice. Oh, you took the opening entry. Damn. Yeah, the opening entry is tough, iPhone. A lot of times, well, so depending on what your target was, like what Smith used was a 50-50. I think if you're gonna take the opening entry like that, you for sure gotta have a wide TP stop loss because it's always gonna be an issue with the big spikes or whatever. So for example, here, if you're gonna take it, I would do it 80-40 because I think that's what Talanji was using. I mean, it works. You just can't do a 20-point stop loss because, price will spike. You could either do an 80-40 if you want to do a 1 to 2, or if you want to do a 1 to 1, I would do 50-50. Either one would have worked out for today. But ideally, you want to do a 1 to 2 so you can kind of balance out if you ever have any losses. Oh, 728. Gotcha, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that one was a tough entry right there. It was oh, because you took the buy. Yeah, you took the buy. See, I would have held off on that because I would have looked for the sell, but it's all good. It happens. Yeah, I know it did look good, right? Because it looked like price was pushing up from here, but then it just ended up going sideways. Yeah, it's all good. Like you said, you learn from it. Maybe in the future you're gonna be a little more cautious with those types of entries. Yeah, iPhone said good thing is that you can make it back easily with the 2 to 1. Yeah, I agree. That's why I stick to the 2 to 1s because it's just easier. You take a loss, you take a win. If you have two back-to-back wins, you're basically up 3R from there. So it helps a lot. That's a question from Rev. Rev is asking, are you going to be trading all of your Apex accounts along with the hedge fund accounts? So what I might have to do is I might have to get a second. So I had a second laptop for this before. If you guys remember, when I first started the hedge fund last year, I had two laptops. I had one laptop just for hedge clients, and I had one laptop just for my prop accounts. I think I'm gonna have to do the same thing again because my prop accounts are through NinjaTrader, and the hedge clients are going to be through StoneX. So I gotta figure it out. I figure out what I'm gonna do. The thing is, I think StoneX I can trade on Mac, so I might not even need to get another laptop. I might just keep this one for my prop accounts, and then I'll trade StoneX for the hedge clients on my actual. You'll probably be able to see the actual trades here on StoneX because I'll probably be doing it on my actual computer. So I still haven't figured out the platform yet. I mean, I got to figure out pretty soon. Honestly, I just got to make a deposit. I got to go to the bank and make a wire. I think I'm gonna wire like 50,000 into the account, so it's gonna hopefully I get cleared pretty soon. I just need to play with the platform to kind of see how it works and whatnot, and then just get familiar with everything before I transfer everybody over. But that's probably gonna be the move. I'm probably gonna have one laptop where my continue using my laptop just for Ninja, and then for StoneX, if they do a work on Mac, then I'll just trade on my main computer here. Yeah. Rev said double finger entries. I would said pause. I would said finger game gotta be strong. I know, right? Yeah, the I'm probably gonna do what I did before. So I typically would just use the touchpad over here for my PC and then I'll use my mouse. Or I gotta get ambidextrous with like two mouse. I got two mouses here already, but I only got so many fingers here on my right hand. iPhone said yeah. That means yes with the laugh. Yeah, finger game buddy, super strong. Barack said I looked the looked and legit and reliable. They pre-installed major features trading on platforms such as NinjaTrader 8 and Sierra. Quant VPS. Okay. Oh my gosh, another error over here. Oh my, you guys hear that? NinjaTrader, man. NinjaTrader just had a crazy error across every single hedge fund client account. I don't know what happened. All right, got to disconnect from Ninja one more time and reconnect all over again. So it just gave me a panic error on NinjaTrader, disconnected from all my live accounts. Only the live accounts though. And it's getting old. It's getting old, NinjaTrader. All right, here we go. Let me try to log back in. Oh my God, what the hell? Hmm, that is weird. So now NinjaTrader is not even letting me connect at all. And okay, well, I guess I'm not trading today, guys. Fuck my life. I'm over an NinjaTrader, guys. I'm ready to get off this platform. I just logged into the web platform and it works, but I'm trying to log in on the computer that thing, and it says that I can't connect to the remote server, which I think is very unusual. Unable to connect to remote server, login failed. Uh, do you have this? Let me check your thing one more real quick. Yeah, I think it's the same thing you have, or no, yours is different. No, yours is different. So yours says unable to connect to database. Mine is it's not letting me connect to the server for some reason. Let me see if the Apex one works. I don't know. The Apex one works, but yeah, I don't know. So Apex works, Tradeify works, but my actual personal account unable to connect to remote server. I don't know. All right, well, whatever, guys. I guess I might take this trade here on my Apex, but I can't get into it on my other one. Frustrating. All right, well, whatever. Let's see. 67. Okay, well, I don't know what's going on here, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Let me try it again. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on with my computer platform. I can log into the NinjaTrader web platform and it works perfectly fine. Well, let me see. Start trading. Let's see. That. Well, I'm glad so the good thing is that I got the error before I got into any positions. Bad thing is I don't know what the hell's going on with this here. I'm actually looking at my like previous chart settings and default settings. All right, so I don't know what's going on with my Ninja. Okay, so I mean I guess I can take this trade here for if it comes up, I can try to take it here for my Apex and Tradeify accounts, but my main accounts they're obviously not connecting here for some reason. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I'm trying to figure out what's the problem with NinjaTrader, but I'm just gonna have to message them now. That message. All right, that's good. All right, guys. So if you're looking to take this position here at 755, again, it's going to be a buy position. We need to have a bullish momentum here in order for us to take that entry. Again, I don't know what's going on with my Ninja Trader, so unfortunately, there's not going to be any trades here taken on my personal account or the hedge clients. For some reason, I'm just having an issue connecting to the remote server, which I've never had this issue before. I just emailed Ninja Trader's compliance right now in their main account. I just sent an email to see what's up, but they usually take a long time to respond, so I'm probably not going to be able to get through to them as of now, which is completely fine. All right, so we'll see. If this here ends up playing out, great. If it doesn't end up playing out, that's completely fine too. Just gotta be a little patient with this here. Here's Lamar's fix for it. Okay, cool. Yeah, if anybody's having that same issue that Lamar's having, I mean, he put kind of the directions to fix that. My issue is different, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to resolve that by doing that specifically. All right, if you guys are looking to take the entry right here, I don't think the sells are going to be that great. If you guys want to take the sell, it's still possible. So let's just do the math real quick for the sell. So for the sell, it's going to be 52.94 plus 36.36 divided by 200. Yeah, the edge here is not good. The edge is actually negative if you're going to take a sell here, guys. The edge is 44.65. So the edge there is not going to be super great. You're basically going to have negative edge of about 6%. It doesn't necessarily mean it's not going to hit, but you're not going to have proper edge here. You need to have a buy signal here in order for this 755 entry to be in, actual entry there. Ah, man, I had like a lot of high hopes for this week. We have one win for this week. That's it. We have one win on Monday, no trade on Tuesday, and then it looks like no trade today. For me personally. I mean, there's trades that came up, but again, the 702 entry, I really wanted to take this one. This is the same one I wanted to take yesterday. The problem with that one right there is that there was news at 7 o'clock, caused this big spike right here, right? The inflation news. So unfortunately, yesterday I had a problem with Ninja Trader. Today I had a problem with the news. Um, 639, this was too close to market open. As you guys can see, there's some manipulation here initially on open. So obviously not something I wanted to mess with. But other than that, there was no other entries for today. The 755 didn't come up, or it's not looking like it's going to come up. So if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to hop into the chat. Otherwise, looks like I'll be wrapping this up pretty soon. Rashida said 1054 might be a good sell, but it's too overextended. I agree. So this right here, 754, this is the entry that's coming up right before. This is going to be a sell entry, and it does line up. So this is going to be an entry for a sell. The only problem here, like Rashida mentioned, is that price is overextended, right? Doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing, but it makes the trade a little riskier than you would like, of course, because this thing has dropped from this higher point down to here, almost 200 points. So if you guys want to take this 754 entry, it is currently running right now in profit. There goes a 754 for a sell. Let's do the math for that entry again real quick. Or the math is already done for you. So for the 754 entry, it has a weighted probability of 61.23. So this is basically an 11-point edge for a sell. Has a 58.82 overall probability for buys and sell, 50% probability for buys, 63.64 probability for sells. It won one out of the three recent entries, and the trade is running right there in profit. No drawdown, straight into profit. I mean, either way, I wouldn't have been able to take the entry on my other accounts here. I'll watch it for you guys. But yeah, like I mentioned, this 755 entry is not going to come up. The target entry for this was a buy. Yeah, the target entry for this was a buy, but obviously no buy entry there, right? It's coming down for a sell though. So basically, you have two entries running alongside each other. You have the 754 and 755 entry running right next to each other for a sell. So you got two of these right there. Let's see. iPhone said I'll take that L for today. Didn't like the position there. Yeah, I don't blame you. I've been on the same boat. Yeah, Rashida said right off that sell gap. Masij said closing 4 wins today, 1 loss. Great day. Yeah, nice work, Masij. If you guys saw Masij's entries for ES, pretty solid over here. Yeah. All right, guys. So I think this might be it for the day. I didn't take any entries today again, of course, unfortunately. I have had a lot of technical issues this week with NinjaTrader and mainly with NinjaTrader. And then a lot of these entries, they were kind of they just didn't meet the criteria in a sense when it came down to the algo entries. So here's the entry at 6 4 or 740 754, still currently running. Um, but yeah, the previous ones they just didn't line up. So again, the 702 entry, there's two entries for today which came up set 639. This was on open or near open. There's too much volatility, too much market manipulation, so we sat out of that one. And then unfortunately, this one over here, this was a perfect entry, no drawdown as well. But it happened right after the news at 7 o'clock. Elad said, I'm having issues with Ninja today too. What's your issue, Elad, with yours? Because mine, for some reason, it won't connect. It says it has problems connecting to remote server. I don't know if you have the same problem. I know you just logged back in. It seems like everybody's having issues with Ninja today. Okay, yeah, Elad said it's disconnecting and lagging. Man, Ninja. It's hard because I have a lot of good things to say about Ninja, but then, when stuff like this happens, it's like you don't even want to use Ninja. Um, Yeah, it seems like it's a widespread issue. Lamar has issues with connecting to the database. A lot is having issues with disconnecting and lagging. A couple other people having connections with disconnecting and lagging. I'm having issues connecting to the remote server on only my live accounts. I don't know. Either way, there's no entries for me today. I'm gonna take this off. I don't want you guys to think I'm in the position. But anyways, this is for the trades for today that came up and that would have been taken. Everything else, there was nothing here. There was an entry at 754. It was not a target entry, so obviously would not count for today's entries. The 755 here, this was for a buy. The entry here was for a sell, so obviously did not take the entry there as well. But and Brock said just saying he's not having issues. Are you using NinjaTrader? I thought you were using Sierra, Brock. I mean, I'm pretty sure you are. Yeah, you are using Sierra. Okay, that makes sense. That's why you're not having issues because you're not on Ninja. Yeah. Okay, guys. So I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Unfortunately, this is one of those days where a lot of the entries had to be skipped because of the market manipulation right before entry, based off news and based off market open. Plus, I have issues or I had issues with NinjaTrader, so I wasn't even able to take anything today, even if I wanted. Let me try again over here. I'm going to see if I can disconnect from my accounts. See if I still have the same problem. Yeah, I'm unable to connect to the remote server. Okay, whatever. It's all good. It is what it is. It's just one of those days. All right, guys. Fortunately, this is one of those days, no entries. Fortunately, but unfortunately, right? It's unfortunate because obviously I wanted to take some entries for today. It's fortunate that I didn't take any losses. So no losses for today, but also no entries. So good thing and a bad thing. Not necessarily a really bad thing because I'd rather have no trades than have a loss for the day. For this week so far, we're still up 2R. So we had one trade on Monday. That was about it. Just one win on Monday, and other than that, there was nothing else that we took for today, for this week. So over here, Monday, November 3rd, this is the only entry I took for this week. My profits are still sitting pretty nicely in profit overall. And that's pretty much it. Let's see, we got some team profits here. Nice. So PTF over here locked in at 3,844. Oh, this is Smith. Okay, nice work, Smith. Yeah, Smith said still one trade away from passing account number one. The riskier account is now at 25% on its way to passing. Solid. So great profits right there, guys. If there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to hit me up. Rev said hoping to get a win to cover my loss from yesterday. No trades today, but at least no losses. I agree with you 100%, Rev. That's the key thing, right? If you can stay consistent on mainly just not taking losses, then you should be able to, consistently make profit over time. So, yeah, CJ said. Yeah, no, I'm gonna be doing the same thing. But all right, guys, if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Unfortunately, no entries for today officially. There are entries here that came up, but they were considered risky because of the news and because of the volatility. But other than that, the algo here still played out exactly how it was supposed to, and trades were taken. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session. So, all right, guys, I'll catch you guys then. Art has some profits real quick. Let me just save this. Nice work, Art. Get one last profit post here. We got RX profits over here, total profit of about 4,000 for the day. So nice work.